We've gone final in your Sunday nighter, and in a battle of student and teacher, young Patrick comes away victorious 41-31 in a game that the Chiefs really handled throughout. Tampa Bay did not go away. Big touchdown before the half, and some more points in the second half that included a fourth quarter touchdown, one in the third as well, but not enough for Tom Brady, who threw it 52 times, 39 completions for 385 and 3 touchdowns. Mike Evans on the receiving end of 2 of those, but Patrick Mahomes, sensational once again in ad-lib, on-script, off-script, 249, 3 touchdowns, 34 rushing yards, as well as Travis Kelce was his top target in this one. 9 grabs for 92 yards and a touchdown as well. Winning tickets include the over, never in doubt, and Chiefs were catching 2 here, said keep them, paid you an extra dime to your dollar. All right, burning the midnight oil, CBS NFL analyst Ryan Wilson and the 2-time champ Bryant McFadden. Guys, Tampa's defense coming into this one hadn't given up more than 14 points in a single game. They get 41 hung on them by KC in this one. How big of a leap forward, Ryan, is this for a Chiefs offense that really no-showed last week in Indy?
I think that's it, Joe. I think they had something to prove based on what happened last week against a Colts team that's frankly not very good. We saw that again on Sunday afternoon, and I mentioned it during the pregame that I thought this was going to be the game where Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid came out and reminded people that they're actually really, really good at what they do. And I think, look, what Patrick Mahomes does isn't necessarily surprising. We talk about it at halftime. But what I think is telling, they ran the ball 37 times. Put another way, they ran the ball 31 more times than the Buccaneers, which is head-scratching to say the least. But I think that balance opened things up for everyone else in the passing game. You know, you talked about Travis Kelce before the game having a big game. He did exactly that. But other guys were able to step up as well. MVS played really well. Juju Smith-Schuster contributed. And these are players that have been on and off throughout the season thus far. And Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes found ways to get other people involved in a post-Tyreek Hill world. And I think we saw that come together perfectly in Tampa Bay on Sunday night. I think it's a glimpse of things to come as this offense continues to evolve without Tyreek.
Yeah, this was the ultimate get-right game for Kansas City. You know, they kind of laid down last week against the Colts, and we felt like this would be an opportunity on a national stage to really showcase where this offense is going, to say the least. There were 8 different players that caught passes from Pat Mahomes. His ability to distribute the football was well documented tonight, not to mention, Ryan, as you mentioned, they ran the ball. I mean, 189 yards on the ground, 37 attempts. This was one of the more balanced games I've seen from Kansas City so far this year. And I say they had more balance than what they displayed week 1 against Arizona. And we know how well they played against Arizona. When this offense is flowing like this, when they're balanced, and Pat Mahomes is just so comfortable in the pocket, they're a hard team to go against. I don't care what type of defense they're facing. If you allow them to get into rhythm, good luck in trying to stop them or slow them down.
Yeah, they look like world beaters at time here on Sunday night, and that was what could be the top offense in the league facing, when it's all said and done, what could be the top defense in the league. Guys, 129 times in his career, Tom Brady has led his offense to 31 points or more. This is just the 5th such time that he suffered a loss out of those 129 instances. 31 points or more usually equals victory here for Brady. And the points, the yardage, it was amassing with his targets back in tow, but they seem to rise to the occasion a little too late in this one. At times, it really seems like there's no joy in it right now for Tom. I don't know if I'm overstepping by saying, but the division looks like free money, and through 4 weeks, Brady doesn't seem like he's having a whole lot of fun out there. I know it's not about fun, it's about W's, but BMAC, when you take a look at Tom Brady, can he succeed from this place of conflict that he seems to be existing in right now?
Yeah, I think so, because eventually they will get healthy. You know, that has been the Achilles heel for the lack of success for Tom Brady and the entire offense. You know, they've been having to go to battle with guys that are not supposed to be out there playing significant time for their offense. And we kind of saw a glimpse of who Tom Brady is. He still has a lot in the tank. You talked about his numbers. I mean, put up 31 points, over 300 yards, 385, 3 touchdowns. I mean, those are outstanding numbers. Unfortunately for Tom and the Buccaneers, they were fighting from behind basically in the first 10 seconds of the ball game, to say the least. You know what I mean? So when you spot a team like Kansas City points, it's going to be tough in trying to win that ball game. You know, Pat Mahomes is the one guy you don't want to give 14 points to. You don't want to give 10 points to. You want to make them earn everything. But I think they're in a good place still because their division is bad. Think about this. It's Tampa, even though they've been inconsistent, Tampa and then who else?
Yeah.
Who would you say is the second best team in the NFC South? Atlanta? We want to say the Saints, but they haven't shown anything for them to warrant that position in their division. So because of their division, they'll be okay.
B-Mac, I think both these things can be true. I think you're right. They're going to win this division. And Tom Brady, as Joe points out, he doesn't look as happy as he's looked previously. And maybe that's just, as you note, he doesn't have the same guys throwing to him. But I'll ask you this, B-Mac, from 2005 to 2008 when you guys faced Tom Brady, especially that 07 season, that Anthony Smith game, he looked a lot happier than he's looked this season. He was doing a lot more smiling, a lot more touchdown connections down the field. And it felt like that offense back in the day was a lot more on the same page than it has been this season. Even the offense during the Super Bowl run with the Buccaneers, it just feels like everything's out of sync. And I wonder if it's just a matter, as you note, of the lack of continuity with the receivers he's not used to, the lack of offensive cohesion that we've seen in recent years in Tampa Bay, and the fact that he's 45 and it feels like there's some personal tug perhaps from his wife to move on from football at some point, and all these things taken together sees the less than always happy Tom Brady, who, by the way, still ends up winning a ton of football games.
Yeah, when it's all said and done, it's all been said and done by these two gentlemen. Here's a look at your updated tale of tape between the two. It's now 3-aside. And the only other game that they could settle it this season would come on February 12th in Arizona with a Lombardi on the line. All right, diving deeper into this one with our guys, Bryant McFadden and Ryan Wilson. Guys, did it seem like there was more in this one from Mahomes? We just saw that tail of the tape. Now even in wins, I'm sure that Super Bowl is the tiebreaker there in Super Bowl 55. But same field he had to walk off of there in Super Bowl 55 with that big loss. You know, do you feel like that fueled him in this one? And does this loss in turn spark maybe a bit of a surge out of Brady? B-Mac, you go first.
Yeah, I think for Pat Mahomes, this was kind of like a revenge opportunity because the last time he stepped foot on that football field, it was in the Super Bowl. And, of course, they didn't have their best effort. He didn't have his best effort. And also, too, they just lost last week. You know, being a team that has championship aspirations, you don't want to drop 2 games back to back, especially against a team that you're better than, and that's the Colts. So being able to get back in the winning column was huge. Being able to defeat the GOAT and Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers based on how well their defense has played is huge as well. And for Tom Brady, they got to look themselves in the mirror and find out what they're going to do moving forward. You know, the identity is there defensively. We know what type of group they have defensively. It just was an ugly performance tonight. But offensively, Tom Brady can still throw the football. We saw that tonight. But where is the running game? Like, what's going on with the running game? That has been an issue the entire year, and they showed up big time against the Kansas City Chiefs tonight. And they just made the Kansas City Chiefs run defense look unbelievable. I mean, if you didn't know anybody, you thought you was watching the 85 Bears based on how well they played against the ground and pound attack from Tampa. So they have a lot of things they need to correct, and I think they have the players to do so. They just got to get healthy.
Yeah, B-Mac, it's funny you talk about that running game, 6 carries, 3 yards. That ain't going to get it done. And I think a big part of that is playoff Lenny wasn't looking like playoff Lenny at any point during this game, but he wasn't given the opportunities. He did more as a receiver, 7 catches, 57 yards, and that's great. You can get the ball to him out wide on those quick screens, and we saw Tom Brady do that with some success early in the game. But if you don't have the balance, and we talked about this at halftime, if you don't have the balance, it doesn't matter, especially when you're going up against an offense in Kansas City and Patrick Mahomes where they can score points every single time down the field. The other thing to be concerned about if you're the Buccaneers, and this is an easy fix, you can't turn the ball over. They had the fumble on the opening kickoff, a quick 6 points for Kansas City, and then the strip sack with L'Jarius Sneed coming off the edge. You have to be better in protection there. And I will say this, we talk about Patrick Mahomes and whether he has something to prove. All these guys have something to prove. They're not out there playing pickup basketball on a Sunday afternoon. They're all type A's. They're all incredibly competitive. And Andy Reid is also incredibly competitive. And the one thing that he needed to fix after that Super Bowl loss to the Buccaneers was the offensive line. The offensive line has been immeasurably better this season, even going into last season, and that has a lot to do with that success. Even without Tyreek Hill, Patrick Mahomes has time to throw, make the decisions, and then make the acrobatic, crazy Patrick Mahomes plays that we somehow are surprised by, even though he does it each and every week.
All right, I'm going to put you guys on the spot here for some fast and nasty power rankings because coming into the season in the AFC, the Bills were supposed to be the measuring stick. We were unsure of the NFC. With the only 4-0 team residing in Philly, that looks to be the measuring stick on that side. Let's go AFC first here with the Chiefs. Where do they rank in your eyes, B-Mac? And then take me to the NFC and situate the Buccaneers amongst the top of the league.
I think the Chiefs would be, in 4 weeks, I give them, they're the second best team in the AFC right now, right behind Buffalo. And I think when Buffalo is healthy, when everyone is healthy at their best, Buffalo is the best team. That was a huge win today. Eventually they will get healthy, but I take Buffalo and I have Chiefs number 2.
All right, then Ryan, on both sides of this one, give me NFC. Where do the Bucs rank right now? Because you saw a lot of good tonight, 31 points. Defense we've seen be stout. They do need to establish the run game at some point this season. But as you take stock of Tampa Bay, where do you situate them in the NFC? And then give me your Chiefs take as well.
I'm going with the Eagles in the NFC, and it may not even be close. And by the way, Dallas with Cooper Rush is making a case. I'm not going to put them in the top 4 just yet, but I'll go Green Bay, even though they had that tough win today in overtime against the Patriots, and then I'll put Tampa Bay third there. I honestly, before the season started, I thought the Saints had a chance to win that division. That appears to be those odds get longer and longer as the weeks go on. So Tampa's third in the NFC. On the other side, I'm going KC 1. Buffalo 2, and I'm going to go Baltimore 3. Now, Baltimore has to figure out how to win games late, something they've struggled with. If they can get that sorted out, given the way Lamar Jackson, that offense is playing, they can make a deep run. But clearly, you can't quit playing defense when the game's on the line. Yeah,
recency bias, but I think my 1-2 flips after this week as well with the Chiefs atop the AFC. Buffalo not too far behind, but they don't hand out trophies after 4 weeks. We will give you a trophy for your performance tonight. Gentlemen, thank you as always. All right, here's a look at Tom Terrific and what hasn't been necessarily a terrific stretch at home. 2 consecutive losses. Gasp. That's just called football in most places for Tom Brady. It's historically bad. He's only had 1 worse streak at home. That was 3 consecutive losses, weeks 9 through 12, back in 2020. Here in 2022, it's 2 the wrong way. Trying to get things sorted out in a hurry as Brady and the Bucs look to stay relevant, not just in that division, but in the conference.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.